Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, where we decode the hidden stories in corporate filings. And let me tell you, this Aviat Networks filing is a real page turner, with some numbers that make you stop and think about the company's future. First up, we have the annual meeting of stockholders for Aviat Networks Incorporated. This meeting is where important decisions are made about who will lead the company and how it will operate moving forward. The main goal of this gathering is to vote on key proposals. Think of it as the yearly checkup for the company's leadership and direction. Now, for the proposals themselves for electing directors, they need a majority of the votes cast. Ratifying the auditors, approving executive pay, and oaking that incentive plan all need a majority of the votes that are present either in person or by proxy. Essentially, they need more than half of the voting power to pass these crucial items. The big day for this meeting is the 5th of November, 2025. Mark your calendars. Let's look at the folks running the show. The board is made up of some experienced individuals. John Much, the chair of the board, has a long history over 10 years of guiding the company. Then we have Scott Halliday, who joined just 8 months ago, bringing fresh eyes. Peter Smith, the CEO, has been a director for almost 6 years, deeply involved in the company's journey. Now, let's talk about how these directors are compensated, looking at fiscal year 2025. The basic annual cash retainer for a director is $50,000. If you are the chair of the board, that jumps to $45,000. And if you chair the audit committee, a solid $22,000. If you are just a regular member of the audit committee, you get $10,000. Then there is the stock awards, with each director receiving RS typically valued at $120,000. For example, John Much, who is the chair of the board, received $133,500 in fees and $119,998 in stock awards, totaling over $253,000. Brian Ingram, another director, received $72,500 in fees and $119,998 in stock awards, bringing his total to over $192,000. Moving on to who actually owns the company. As of the 11th of September 2025, there were over 12.8 million shares of common stock outstanding. Big institutional investors like BlackRock Incorporated with over 775,000 shares, Nebraska Sea Corporation with over 736,000 shares, and the Vanguard Group Incorporated with over 651,000 shares are significant holders. Among the management team, Peter A. Smith, the CEO, owns over 363,000 shares, representing about 2.8% of the company. All directors and executive officers combined own about 5.3% of the company. This section deals with the money paid to the company's auditors. For fiscal year 2025, Aviat Networks paid Deloitte and Touch LLP approximately $2.1 million for audit fees. They also paid about $40,000 for audit-related services and around $82,000 for tax services. Here is a big change. As of the 18th of September, 2025, the company decided to switch auditors from Deloitte to Grant Thornton LLP for the upcoming fiscal year, 2026. This is a pretty significant move and often signals something new is brewing or a desire for a fresh perspective on the company's financials. Now, let's dive into the executive compensation. Peter A. Smith, the CEO, is the highest earner. In fiscal year 2025, his total compensation was over $3.7 million. This includes a base salary of $650,000 and stock awards valued at over $3.1 million. Looking at the summary compensation table, we can see a clear picture of what the top executives earned over 3 years. For Peter A. Smith, his total compensation in 2025 was $3,772,051. In 2024, it was about $4.2 million, and in 2023, it was approximately $4.1 million. Michael Conaway, the CFO, saw his compensation rise from about $1 million in 2024 to over $1.5 million in 2025, mainly due to an increase in stock awards. In fiscal year 2025, the company granted a significant amount in equity awards. For Peter S. Smith, the CEO, they granted restricted stock units, or SUS, valued at nearly $1.45 million and performance share units, or SUS, worth over $1.47 million. That is a total of almost $3 million in equity awards, just for the CEO. Michael Conaway also received ARIS valued at nearly $500,000 and Seuss at over $507,000. When we look at what the executives actually realized from their stock awards in 2025, Peter S. Smith received over $1.6 million from vested stock awards. Michael Conaway got over $235,000, Aaron Bosie's over $117,000, and Gary Croak over $91,000. Here is a startling figure. The CEO pay ratio for fiscal year 2025, the CEO's total compensation was over $3.7 million, while the median pay for all other employees was about $58,800. This means the CEO made about 64 times more than the typical employee. That is a huge gap. This pay versus performance table is really interesting. It compares how much executives are paid to how the company performs. For fiscal year 2025, the summary compensation for the CEO was about $3.7 million, but the actual compensation paid to the CEO was closer to $2.5 million. A big difference often due to how stock awards are accounted for versus when they are actually earned or vested. Looking at net income, the company reported $1,341,000 in fiscal 2025, which is a significant drop from $10,760,000 in 2024 and $10,169,000 in 2023. This steep decline in profitability is definitely a concern and needs context. The company links executive pay to key performance measures like gross adjusted EBITDA, revenue, total shareholder return, or TSR, and net income. In fiscal year 2025, they didn't hit their targets for gross adjusted EBITDA and revenue, which explains why there were no payouts from the annual incentive plan for the executives. Now let's talk about proposal number 4. The approval of the third amended and restated 2018 incentive plan. This is essentially asking stockholders to approve giving the company more shares to use for employee and director stock awards. If approved, this plan will make an additional 1,200,000 shares available, bringing the total to over 1.5 million shares available for stock. Based compensation. The company argues this is crucial for attracting and retaining talent, aligning employee and stockholder interests, and managing cash by using equity instead of cash. Finally, for cost savings, the company is sending out just one set of proxy materials to households with multiple stockholders. If you want your own set, you need to specifically request it. So, what is my take on this filing? Aviat Networks Incorporated is making a strategic shift in auditors, which could be a positive move for transparency. However, the sharp drop in net income and the failure to meet performance targets for executive bonuses in fiscal year 2025 are red flags. While the company is trying to retain talent through equity awards, the large pay gap between the CEO and the average employee is substantial. The proposed increase in the equity incentive plan shows a commitment to using stock as a motivational tool, but the company needs to demonstrate a stronger link between executive pay and actual financial performance, especially with that dip in net income. They are aiming to grow, and these incentives are tied to that, but the results must follow. If they can improve profitability and hit those revenue targets consistently, this company has potential, but right now, it feels like they are counting on future performance to justify current compensation structures. Alright, that is our breakdown of Aviat Networks. Latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company? Future, drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.